Hello everybody, I am Jay Shady, the voice of reason, and I am here to talk about WrestleMania 18. Even though 2002 in the WWF WWE was to me one of the greatest years ever, you had great content, great storylines, some great returns, debuts, and you had SummerSlam and Survivor Series of that year being one of the best of those respective shows ever. WrestleMania 18 itself was a mediocre show, maybe a little bit higher than mediocre, but not good or anything. I will say that the start of this WrestleMania, the video package was phenomenal. It really got you psyched and hyped for the show. All the superstars talking about what WrestleMania means to them. I thought that was done perfectly. But let me talk about the card itself. Your opening match was Rob Van Dam versus William Regal for the Intercontinental Championship. This was a very forgettable match. I mean, I forgot like 80% of what happened in the match already. I mean, it wasn't a great opener by any means or anything. I mean, it wasn't horrible. It wasn't just atrocious. It was okay. It was serviceable, but not memorable at all. Rob Van Dam gets the win with a frog splash, I believe, and wins the Intercontinental Championship. So, not an impressive opener, in my opinion. Then you get Diamond Dallas Page versus Christian for the European Championship. Man, the WWF really just totally fucked up DDP so bad. I remember in WCW, DDP was one of my favorites with the long hair, the jean jacket, the jeans, the Smells Like Teen Spirit ripoff theme music. I love Diamond Dallas Page. In the WWF, he was just a smiling, short-haired goofball stuck in the dumbest of storylines. And I just didn't like this match. It wasn't good. It wasn't downright horrible, but nothing good really in this match. Nothing to talk about. Just a filler-ass match. DDP gets the win with a Diamond Cutter. Diamond Cutter, a million times fucking better than the RKO. I'll just say that right there. So DDP retains the European Championship. Then you get Maven versus Goldust for the Hardcore Championship. And this has to be one of the most lame fucking Hardcore Championship matches ever. I mean, the most hardcore things these guys did was hit each other in the head with a trash can and a trash can lid. This was not hardcore by any means. This was not a good match. Fucking Maven. I totally forgot about this guy until I watched this match. What the fuck ever happened to this tough enough winner goofball? But yeah, this match sucked. I liked the ending though. You had Goldust was outside the ring and Spike Dudley pins Maven because of the Hardcore Championship 24/7 rule. So he pins Maven and he wins the belt and runs away. And throughout the night you have all different types of wrestlers winning the belt from other people backstage and trying to run away. And eventually it ends up back in Maven's hands. I thought that was good stuff, but this match sucked. Then you get Kurt Angle versus Kane. This was an okay match with moments of good stuff sprinkled in here and there. I liked some parts of this match. Some parts were just, like, barely serviceable. Like, just okay, just standard, nothing exciting. It does end on a botch. You have Kurt Angle rolling up Kane, and he screws up the roll-up, and he's pinning Kane, but Kane's shoulders aren't down on the mat, but yet the ref still counts to 3. The ending ruined it a little bit, and the match wasn't that good itself, even though it did have some good moments and the best match of the night up to that point. Then you get The Undertaker versus Ric Flair in the No Holds Barred match. I liked this match a lot. I thought this was a really good match. I think the second best match of the night, without a shadow of a doubt. You had Ric Flair bleeding like crazy, like he always does. You had Undertaker bleeding. You had it was pretty much a brutal brawl, very much like Undertaker versus Triple H. This was Ric Flair's return WrestleMania. The commentating was fucking fantastic in this match. JR and King, just so fucking funny, these two. Especially King and JR is like, what are you, drunk throughout the commentary? But very funny commentary, a really exciting brawl. You had Arn Anderson getting involved. Thought this was a really great match. A very great, exciting brawl. Of course, The Undertaker wins it, I believe, with the Tombstone Piledriver, and he extends his streak to 10-0. So, very good match. Then you get Edge versus Booker T. This was like, I don't know, it was just there. Nothing happened really, nothing to talk about. Edge wins with, I believe he was with an Edgecution. Yeah. At least Edge got a win in his hometown of Toronto. The story of him watching Ultimate Warrior versus Hulk Hogan at WrestleMania 6 in the Sky Dome. So that's nice, the story itself, but the match wasn't good. Um, then you get one of the most disappointing matches in history, in my opinion. Stone Cold Steve Austin versus Scott Hall. And like I said in my last video, after the heel turn, Stone Cold was never the same again, and this shows it right here. He's the 7th match on the card of 11 matches. He's like in the middle of the fucking card at WrestleMania in an under 10-minute match. He just was not the same anymore. And this was upsetting because you think Stone Cold versus Scott Hall, you think it sounds like a really good match, NWO versus Stone Cold the Rebel. But this just, oh man, this wasn't good at all. This was bad. It was just punching, strictly just punching, clotheslines. Maybe you got 2 wrestling moves in this match at tops. You had Kevin Nash interfering ringside. You have them going through a bunch of referees. Stone Cold hits like 4 stunners on Scott Hall in the match. It was funny, the ending with Stone Cold giving Scott Hall the stunner and Scott Hall's days still standing after the first stunner. Then Stone Cold does another stunner and Scott Hall literally jumps up in the air and falls back and Stone Cold wins like that. But man, this match was a letdown, and even both guys said on record that this match did not live up to their expectations and they were unpleased about the short amount of time they were given for this match. So this was a very disappointing match. Then you got Billy and Chuck versus the APA versus the Dudley Boys versus the Hardy Boys in a 4 corners elimination match for the Tag Team Championship. This started off not good, not exciting, just very mediocre. I mean, it did have good moments when it was down to the Dudleys and the Hardys, and then down to the Hardys and Billy and Chuck. It was okay. But this wasn't a good match, especially, after the last 2 WrestleMania Tag Team Championship matches with the Triangle Ladder match and the TLC 2. This was a huge step down from that. And you have my least favorite team in this whole match win the match, Billy and Chuck. I think one of them hits Jeff in the head with the title belt while the referee isn't looking, and they get the pin and retain the championship. Yeah, it was an okay match. It had moments of good stuff, but my least favorite team goes over, so it left me with a bad taste in my mouth. Then you get easily the match of the fucking night. One of the greatest WrestleMania matches of all time, in my opinion. The Rock versus Hollywood Hulk Hogan in an epic fucking match. This is the dream match. No dream match has ever been like this, in my opinion. John Cena versus The Rock has nothing on The Rock versus Hollywood Hulk Hogan. Man, this was fantastic, especially me watching all the WrestleManias in continuity from WrestleMania 1 to WrestleMania 18 in chronological order. Going back to seeing Hulk Hogan back in WrestleMania, it was just very charming and nostalgic and all that, and it was the same for the crowd. Oh man, this was amazing. If you do not think that The Rock versus Hulk Hogan is a great match, then you are just a internet wrestling nerd who just does not understand what wrestling is about. It's not about the flippity floppity technical shit 24/7. If you're just into that, why are you watching WWF? Because WWF was never about that. It was about an epic feel, about drawing money, about 2 huge superstars, 2 mega icons clashing, and this is what this match was about. Of course you're not going to see a great technical wrestling match from Hulk Hogan, a guy 50 years old here, and The Rock. This was one of the greatest matches in WrestleMania history, in my opinion. I mean, the crowd was hot as fuck for this. From the get-go, you had them being pretty much split down the middle between Rock and Hogan, but each move that happens in the match, they start veering more towards Hogan and start booing The Rock. This was fantastic. I mean, wow, you never see a crowd like this. I never heard pops like this. The Skydome was electric for this. Just great psychology with both of these guys, especially when Hogan kicks out of the Rock bottom and he starts hulking up. I've never heard a pop like that. the crowd second by second gets louder and louder and louder, and he starts hulking up, and then he goes, "You," and the crowd fucking loses it. How the roof did not come off this place, I do not understand. Then he gets the leg drop, the crowd is going fucking ape shit. Rock kicks out, he hits the rock bottom and a people's elbow and beats Hulk Hogan. The torch is passed. Hulk Hogan really puts over the Rock here. And then you had your great fucking post-match segment, which, you know, could make any grown-ass man shed a tear or two, because this was fantastic with Hulk Hogan with the little puppy dog eyes giving his hand to the Rock, and they shake hands. Great sportsmanship. The crowd's going crazy. The NWO starts beating up Hulk Hogan, and the Rock and Hulk Hogan start beating up the NWO, and Hulk Hogan does the pose down. This was fantastic. Great match. Great post-match segment. This whole thing was just fucking amazing. And how the fuck was this not the main event of WrestleMania 18? How could anybody expect the crowd to still be alive, to still give a shit about stuff after this? You know, this was just, I'm sure this was just Triple H politicking that he wanted to main event over Hulk Hogan and The Rock. This is one of those rare exceptions where the championship match is second in importance to something else. There is nothing more important than The Rock versus Hulk Hogan, and having this not be the main event hurt Triple H versus Chris Jericho when that match happened. But this was fantastic, fantastic match. Then you get Jazz versus Trish Stratus versus Lita in a triple threat women's championship match. You follow up Hulk Hogan versus The Rock with a fucking women's match. But, you know, this wasn't a good match, really. Very botchy. And again, what my least favorite person in this match wins. Jazz wins it with a perfect plex off of the top turnbuckle to lead, I believe. Retains the championship. Then you get your main event. But this was not the main event by no means. The main event is Rock versus Hogan. But your main event is Triple H versus Chris Jericho for the Undisputed Championship. And, you know, for WrestleMania main event, this was not what you expect. This was not acceptable, in my opinion, for a WrestleMania main event. I mean, this was an okay to good match. But for your main event of WrestleMania, this did not deliver. This underperformed in my eyes. I thought this was just a standard, okay, serviceable match, but nothing more than that. Very slow in the beginning. It had a good spot with Triple H getting back body drop through the announce table, but the crowd didn't give two shits about this match, and quite frankly, I didn't give two shits about this match after Rock versus Hogan, and that really hurt the match. I never saw a crowd so dead. I never heard a crowd so dead during a WrestleMania main event match. The crowd just did not give a fuck because they already saw their main event. But yeah, I mean, this wasn't that good even. You know, it was okay. It was serviceable. You know, it was passable, but nothing more than that. Nothing spectacular. Triple H gets the win with a pedigree. Wins the championship. But this was not the main event. I am so sorry. But there you go. There's my review of WrestleMania 18. I will give it a 6.5. I mean, you had some okay good stuff here, and you had one of the most epic of epic matches of all time with The Rock versus Hulk Hogan. Like I said, if you do not think that is an epic, great, classic match, then I don't know why you're watching WWF. You're just an IWC fucking nerd that just jizzes to like indie bullshit, high-flying stuff that has no meaning or story behind them doing the shit. This is a match with a fucking story. This is fantastic. But yeah, 6.5. It is an enjoyable WrestleMania. Like, you're never like, oh, this whole thing sucks. But 6.5, a little bit better than mediocre. There you go. There's my review. Hope you liked it. I am Jay Shady. I have 10 more WrestleManias left to go. Voice of Reason. Like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you later.